Hello and welcome to the Mindful Caregiver Breathing Circle. My name is Sabrina and I will be your guide inward today. So if this is your very first session or you're returning, I want to give you a quick description of what you can expect from not just this session of the Caregiver Breathing Circle, but any other one that you tune into. So first and foremost, each one of these sessions stands alone, which means that if this is your first time watching or tuning in, first of all, thank you. But also, you don't have to catch up or watch anything previous to this. Each session is complete and whole on its own and talks about a different intention and a different practice that you can apply into your life. And these are also recorded and they will be put onto the Yoga for Caregivers YouTube for you to practice and tune into at your own pace and in your own time. I don't know if you hear that, but the storm just started. That was very, took me back a little bit. Okay, where was I? So the next part is I want you to understand that these sessions are broken down into three simple parts. The first part is intention setting, which once I explain all of this stuff, we'll get into. And that is simply setting our intention for what we're going to be doing today, and more importantly, how we're tuning into our being, what we're going to be focusing on. The second part of each session is going to be a quick and simple dharma talk. So I'll share a quote or a passage from a book or something that has truly called out to me and that resonates with that session's intention. And from there, I will do my very best to help that passage or that quote be applicable and almost tangible to your life as a caregiver. And finally, the third part will be our mindfulness meditation practice at the end, which is always very beginner friendly. So let's go ahead and get started on today's session. So today's intention is all about forgiveness and acceptance. Now, forgiveness and acceptance is definitely a topic that all of us can get behind, all of us can understand and definitely benefit from. But particularly for caregivers, as with all things, it's not just about you, it's also about what radiates from you to those that you care for and care about. So as we set this intention, I'm going to offer a simple affirmation that you can take with you throughout the week, throughout the month, but particularly for today's session. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then you can go ahead and leave it and choose something that does. So today's intention and affirmation is, today I choose the light weight of forgiveness rather than a heavy past. I like this affirmation because, as with all of them, I truly want to help you embody choice. In every moment, we have a choice in how we approach things. And we may not be able to control what's going on around us, and we definitely can control the people that are around us and the environments that we may be placed in. But we do have a say in how we respond to what's going on around us and how we pay attention to what's going on within us. And so when we talk about forgiveness and acceptance, as with all things, mindfulness teaches us that it starts from within. It gets a little easier to forgive someone that has wronged you if you can forgive yourself. And it gets a little bit easier to accept where that road has taken you, for the thing that you're working on forgiving, for the person that you're working on forgiving. It gets a little easier to accept what's going on around us when we can tune in and accept what's going on within us. So a quick quote that I'd like to share with you about that kind of ties into our intention. But also I have a passage as well that I would like to share with you. But I'll share the quote first. And this quote is by Sylvia Boorstein. And it goes like this. Mindfulness is the aware, balanced acceptance of the present experience. It isn't more complicated than that. It is opening to or receiving the present moment, pleasant or unpleasant, just as it is, without either clinging to it or rejecting it. Without either clinging to it or rejecting it. And that line really stands out for me when we think about forgiveness and acceptance. I chose these two as the intention for today's session because I do believe they go hand in hand. Before we can accept something, most likely we have to forgive. We have to work on letting go of what it is that we're clinging to that didn't work out or that hurt us. And so when we think about this in terms of being a caregiver, the things that are hardest to forgive are the things that aren't always intentional. Maybe it's the way that the person you are caring for shows up. Maybe it's the pain that they're going through that pours out of them and ends up on you. Maybe they're hurting you unintentionally. Or maybe you're in a situation where they might intentionally be trying to hurt your feelings because something's hurting them inside. Forgiveness allows us to not roll over and forgive and forget. I don't really like that cliche saying. But forgiveness allows us to create a little more space in our heart for peace. And if there's more space in our heart for peace, that means that we've let go of a burden, of a heavy weight. And once we have that space, once we've created more space for peace within us, it has the potential to come out of us more, to shine through us in all that we do and all that we offer to those that we care for. And when we can work on forgiving ourselves for getting frustrated or angry or upset about things that we can't control, we can work on forgiving that person, that place, that environment that maybe evoke those feelings within us. And that's one step, forgiveness. And once we've taken that step, we can broaden our view a little bit and we can see things with a little more clarity. We're also looking through the lens of forgiveness, through the lens of peace, rather than what we're clinging to, what we're rejecting, or what we're wishing we could change. And that allows us to welcome our second step, which is acceptance. So I'd like to share a passage with you. This is by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and the book is Wherever You Go, There You Are. It's one of my favorite books. I've read it time and time again. This is definitely one of those that I recommend that you don't read once, but you keep by your bed to remind you of the values and the truths that you'd like to hone in on, not just as a caregiver, but as a person trying to live a life with a little bit more intention, with a little bit more control over our reactions, and hopefully bringing a little more mindfulness to your world so you can respond rather than emotionally react to the things that happened around you. So this quote is geared toward loving kindness, which will be our meditation today. Our meditation will be about loving kindness, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments, and I'll guide you through that. And the quote goes like this: "There is really no natural limit to the practice of loving kindness in meditation or in one's life. It is an ongoing, ever expanding realization of interconnectedness. It is also its embodiment. When you can love one tree, or one flower, or one dog, or one place, or one person, or yourself for one moment, you can find all people, all places, all suffering, all harmony in that one moment. Practicing in this way is not trying to change anything or get anywhere, although it might look like that on the surface. What it is really doing is uncovering what is always present. Love and kindness are here all the time, somewhere, in fact, everywhere. Usually, our ability to touch them and be touched by them lies buried below our fears and hurts, below our greed and our hatreds, below our desperate clinging to the illusion that we are truly separate and alone. I love that quote. And I thought about leaving out the desperate and alone part because it's a bit of a downer from where it starts, right? But I decided to leave that part of the passage in because we're talking about forgiveness and acceptance. We're talking about those hatreds, those greeds, those uncomfortable, unpleasant emotional states and states of mind and states of being that lie within us. And we all have them, which is the wonderful thing about human nature. Something that you hate or something that hurts you or bothers you, it may not bother me and I may not hate it and it may not frustrate me in the same way. But I can recognize and understand the feeling of frustration, the feeling of anger, even if something else triggers me and does it for me. And so forgiveness and acceptance can help bring us closer to oneness. They can help us recognize that even if I cannot understand where this person is coming from, I can recognize that their feelings are valid, just as mine are. And I can recognize that they have desires and they have wants and they have things that really bother them, just like I do. And if I can forgive myself for any ill feeling or ill will that I may have put out there, then I have more capacity to forgive another that maybe brought that energy toward me or invited it out into their own world. And that goes back to our intention and our affirmation. Today I choose the light weight of forgiveness rather than a heavy past. So when we think about forgiveness and we think about how challenging it can be sometimes, we really can consider that there are two choices to be made. There are two different hards to experience. And it's one, the hard of clinging to what hurt us, the hard of identifying with and holding on to the pain and the suffering and the way that we view the person that hurt us and the way that we view the place and the environment that it all took place, that it all unfolded. We can hold on to this experience of the past. And that's one way that's really hard. And then there's another hard, and it's forgiving that person, that place, that hurt, that experience, that situation. And forgiveness is definitely not a one-time thing, because some of these memories may live rent-free in your head. And maybe you've got to go and care for a person that's hurt you deeply. And just because it happened yesterday doesn't mean it's not as strong today. So forgiveness is something that you choose over and over again. Just as you can choose to cling to pain, you can choose to forgive it and release your grips of it. And allow it to release its grips of you. And in this way, when we choose forgiveness, when we remember that we have a choice to choose between forgiveness and clinging, then we truly make way for acceptance, for accepting that this has happened, even if I didn't like it, even if it was unpleasant and unfair and uncomfortable and inconvenient, it happened. Acceptance is not saying that you're okay with it happening again. Instead, acceptance is saying, I'm willing to move forward now, accepting that it happened, knowing that it happened, understanding that it's happened. And with that, your spirit, your body, your mind can get a little bit lighter because you're choosing forgiveness and you're choosing to put that heaviness down. You're choosing not to cling anymore. So, on that note, I'd like to invite us to begin our meditation. So, if you've never meditated before, welcome. I encourage you to find a comfortable spot. So, this could be seated with your feet planted on the ground beneath you, or you can do cross-legged if that's comfortable for you. But I would advise that if you are going to go cross-legged, that maybe you put a cushion beneath your tailbone, just so that your hips are raised a little high and we're not dipping too low. The most important thing for sitting for a particular duration of time for meditation, so we can lessen distraction as much as possible, is to find comfort. So making sure that your clothes are comfortable. If you need to grab a blanket, go ahead and do so. And if you're catching the replay, you could just pause, right? You could pause, get cozy, and then come on back. And if you're laying down, I encourage you to try to keep a posture that will keep you from falling asleep. So maybe having your knees bent and your feet flat, or if that's not the most comfortable for you, you can go ahead and have your legs straight down and arms by your side, or maybe clasped on your belly. And if you're seated, there's a couple different ways that you can have your hands. You can have them flat down on your lap. You can have them placed up so your palms are open to the ceiling. Or one that I like to keep my posture is to keep it this way, almost as if I'm holding a wheel. Almost as if I'm holding a wheel right here. My hands are clasped right where my lap begins. And it allows my shoulders to be back, but not too rigid, away from my ears, in a dignified but relaxed state. And that's what we're trying to go for. So once you find that you've found a comfortable spot, I'm going to take you through some breathing exercises. We're going to tune into our body, and I'll remind you of today's intention as we begin our loving kindness meditation. So you can feel free to close your eyes over, or if it's more comfortable for you, you can keep a soft gaze at about the tip of your nose. We're not staring at anything in particular, just going to relax. And let's tune in to how we are already breathing. Notice where you can experience the breath. Where are you feeling it right now? Maybe you feel it in the rise and fall of your belly or your chest. Maybe it's audible and you can hear yourself breathing. Maybe you can feel the temperature change near your nostrils. Inhaling cool air or exhaling warm air. Let's expand our awareness to the quality of your breath. Are you breathing long and deep or short and shallow? Maybe it's rigid, shaky. Maybe it's quick. There's no wrong way for the breath to be entering and leaving your body. We're just taking a moment to observe how we are naturally in this moment. Now that we've tuned into the body through the breath, I invite you to take charge with specific breathing instructions that I'll give you. At any point, if it's uncomfortable for you, listen to and trust your body. Go back to your natural way of breathing. Come back to the present moment. And if you'd like, you can begin again. In this breathing exercise, we're going to send little love notes to our body and reminders to relax and calm. It's a simple way that we can turn on our parasympathetic nervous system, which is to turn off any stress hormones that may be pumping through our body and let our body know it's okay to relax into this moment. And we do this by elongating our exhale. So I invite you to inhale for about 3 seconds through the nose. Hold for a moment at the top. And then slowly through the nose, exhale for about 5 or 6 seconds. Again, holding for a moment at the bottom before beginning the cycle again. Again, the cycle is inhale for 3 seconds. Hold for a moment at the top. And exhale for 5 or 6 seconds through the nose. Holding for another moment at the end of the exhale. Continue this cycle of breath at your own pace. And if you're feeling comfortable and a little adventurous, you can expand the amount of seconds that you're inhaling or exhaling, just as long as your exhale remains 2 or 3 seconds longer than your inhale. As a reminder, the affirmation and intention of today's practice is today I choose the light weight of forgiveness rather than a heavy past. Allow your exhale to be your bodily reminder to release, to let go of any tension, clenching, or tight muscles you may notice. Give yourself permission to completely surrender to your seat, your cushion, or the mat beneath you. In a moment, I'm going to ring the bell one time, and I encourage you to listen until you can't hear it anymore, as a personal invitation to the present moment, where I'll begin our loving kindness meditation. The change we seek in our outer reality begins within our inner world. Our inner world is inhabited by thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, our personal experience. Throughout this practice, I invite and encourage you to see yourself through the eyes of loving kindness. Whatever thoughts, feelings, physical sensations arise within your inner world, remind yourself that you have the choice to send them love as many times as you need to. I invite you to open your heart and in your mind's eye, share these affirmations with yourself. Share them with intention, with purpose, and with true emotion and meaning. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be at peace in my mind and in my body. May I feel ease and lighthearted. May I experience and express unconditional love. Embody what these affirmations feel like. Allow yourself to be consumed by good feelings, good intentions. Allow yourself to be here now. Keeping this emotion alive within your body and in your mind, I invite you to expand your awareness from sharing those loving intentions with yourself to now sharing them with someone you truly love and deeply care for. It could be the first person that comes to mind. Imagine that love amplifying. And as you come from your heart-centered space, imagine that you are sharing these loving affirmations to this person's heart right now. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be at peace in both mind and body. May you experience ease and contentment. May you be healthy, happy, and free. Imagine that these words are embodying within this person in your mind's eye. And as you share love with another, it expands within you. And so I invite you to expand your awareness once more, staying with this elevated, loving, emotional energy. And see if you can bring to mind someone that frustrates you, or maybe has bothered you recently. And see if you can still remain in this unconditional, loving, heart-centered space. And from this space, share with them those same intentions and affirmations. May they be happy. May they be well. May they be at peace in both mind and body. May they experience ease and contentment. May they express and experience unconditional love. And as you share those loving intentions with another, they expand even more within you. Now, for one last time, I'll invite you to expand your awareness the most you ever have, and sending these loving intentions to everyone and everything. If that's just too big for you to imagine, then I want you to fill this space in your mind's eye with as many people as you can think of. Strangers, loved ones, acquaintances, co-workers, family, friends, neighbors. Fill this space with all of the people that are also deserving of loving kindness. And as you tune into this heart-centered space, send them those same loving intentions. May you all be well. May you all find happiness. May you all experience a life of ease and contentment. May you all be at peace in both mind and body. May you all experience and express unconditional love. May you all be free. Take a moment to sit in the expansive energy of love and kindness that you've created, not just for yourself, but for so many of those in your life and all around. Take a moment to bask at being love. Now I invite you to place your hands at your heart center, either on top of your chest or in prayer position. And take a moment to express gratitude for today's practice, for the intention that you set, and for your willingness to be here, to do the work that no one else can do for you. Take a moment to thank yourself just for being who you are, because it has such positive, compassionate, and loving ripple effects into the world around you. I invite you to stay with and in this energy for as long as you need to. I will ring the bell 3 times to signify the end of this practice and gently guide you out. But I want to remind you that practice doesn't end when the bell rings. This is only formal practice. There will be plenty of informal opportunities to express that loving kindness from within you, to yourself, and to others. Let's gently take ourselves out of this practice the way we gently stepped into it. The slow movements of the fingertips, the toes, and maybe the wrists. Gently coming back into your space. In your own time, blinking your eyes open or raising your gaze. And coming back to the room around you. I want to thank you for sharing this space with me, for carving out the time to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. Those that you care for and care about will absolutely benefit from you taking time for yourself. So remember to take time for yourself. Of course, it will help them, but it will help you so much. And again, my name is Sabrina. I am a mindfulness instructor, a meditation teacher, and an intuitive healer. And I'd like to remind you that peace is always one choice away. So may you have the courage to choose more peace in your life today. Thank you.